Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It is Sunday. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It is absolutely gorgeous outside today. I'm close to the entrance of my property here where I've got two driveways. One is asphalt and one is gravel. And this video is in response to SouthernPrepper1. About 2 days ago, he talked about the additional expenses that are incurred that most people are not aware of when you buy a farm or homestead. I will attest to the fact that when I moved here, I was supposed to move to the top of the hill where the asphalt driveway ends near that garage. The former owner had a mobile home trailer up there, but it was covered in black mold and it had to come down. During this process, I had already ordered a cabin, the house I'm living in now, that was supposed to be delivered up there. But because of so many circumstances, 6 weeks of rain, I didn't have this gravel road, trees that had to come down, I ended up moving down here. But before I could move down here, in order to deliver my house and all the other buildings that were going to be down here, I had to have installed a gravel driveway or an asphalt driveway, some driveway. So I went about the task of hiring the local gravel company, and I believe it was in June. Yes, it was either June or early July of 2019, the gravel, tons and tons of gravel were delivered. There were 3 truck fulls. So the distance from my gate, a little bit beyond my gate, to the end is approximately 350 feet. But I actually extended it the following year and then the year after that. So it's approximately 400 feet long. So basically what they did is they started from here, and each load of gravel, they would open up the back of the truck and then zoom ahead and leave a trail of gravel. The first gravel that was delivered was the extra large gravel. Not so much this. This is a little bit smaller. There were 3 different kinds of gravel. So for the base, you need to use the largest gravel possible. And I actually would ask UPS and Federal Express if they could drive back and forth on it a few times. I would drive back and forth on it. Any workers that were here, I'd say, could you just drive back and forth on my driveway and pat it down? And then, of course, all the rain we had would do that sufficiently, too. But fast forward to 2022 today, I have subsequently, the end of 2019, had the smaller gravel spread. So in June or July of 2019, I first had the large gravel spread all the way down. And then at the end of the year, I believe it was around October, I had the smaller gravel spread. The following year, I had 2 more trucks of gravel spread in the spring to increase the width and the length of the driveway. And then again in the fall, I did the same thing. So far, 2.5 years, I have been spreading gravel, and I will attest to the fact that the first gravel load spread cost me $1,200. This was an expense I was not anticipating when I moved here. In addition to the fact that I had to have installed a septic. Even though there was one at the top of the hill, actually the local water company could not find it. So because they couldn't find the septic up there, they couldn't tap this location into it. So I had to have a septic installed. So many things rode on my having a driveway here. They could not deliver my house or my nonprofit building or my shed without having some stable ground, some stability here. So I had to have this driveway installed. I really did not have a choice. I could not have my house delivered until I did. So it's a little bright out, so I hope you can see how long this driveway is. And the first gravel delivery in 2019 cost me about $1,200. The subsequent ones were approximately $400, $420 per truck. And each time I would have at least 2 trucks fulls of gravel. So I would say that the first year, it cost me approximately $2,000 or a little bit more than $2,000 for the first 2 loads of gravel. The first load in this spring, the next load in the fall. Then the following year, I had more gravel spread, 2 more trucks full to extend the driveway, the length of the driveway, widen it so that I would have a circular path, so that when UPS or Federal Express or anybody else would come here, they would have a turn circle. And I could show you that. So, but this didn't happen right away. I mean, it happens a little bit at a time. And I would say it expanded the most it's going to go last year. And I'm going to take a year off now on spreading gravel. And then what happens is after the first the larger size gravel, then you get the next size. And I forget the numbers associated with it. Then there is another gravel. It's very, very fine, almost like a powdery gravel. And you spread that on top of it. And once it gets wet, it kind of acts like a cement that cements all the gravel together. Now, I did that last year, but unfortunately, the gravel company screwed up at big time. Their truck was not operating properly. So rather than spread the gravel, it dumped it all in one place. And it was just such a problem for me. You know, I don't have help here to spread this out. I was doing it myself with a rake. And then I ended up hiring somebody to help me. So here now, I've expanded the width of this driveway so that you can actually fit very easily 2 cars or 2 trucks side by side here. And then when you get down here, I expanded it in a circular way so that when Federal Express and UPS come, they can do a turn here. But I will attest to the fact that I'll say it probably has cost me to date close to $3,000 to install this driveway from here. I hope you can see this. Let's see. Let me back up a little bit here. So yeah, so this was an unexpected expense. And of course, once you have it installed, you still have to maintain it. I get weeds here. You know, I have got some criminals that come onto the property. They plant weeds in my flower beds. They plant weeds in the driveway. And you know that they're planted because they don't exist in the rest of the grass. So you've got to maintain it. When we get a lot of heavy rain and stuff, some of it, I'm not going to say it washes away, but it gets buried. So the more there's traffic on this, the more it becomes compacted. And then subsequently you'll need to, fill in more gravel. But what it does, it makes it a lot easier for you to drive, for anybody to drive in and out. It separates, the grass, where a lot of the grass, becomes very, very wet down there. So with the gravel, when we do have the heavy rains, it kind of sifts the rainwater through the gravel so that you always have a dry spot. The downside is, and I noticed this last year, we had a very heavy rain, and then it froze. So unlike when it rains and you walk over here and it feels somewhat dry, where you're squashing around and squishing around in the grass, it actually froze over, and it didn't last too long. When the sun came out, it melted it right away, but it was a little dangerous, sort of like the way it would be on an asphalt driveway when it freezes over. So yes, this was a huge extra expense for me. But again, it depends on how much of a driveway you need, how wide you want it. Some people don't need a 2-car side-by-side driveway. But if you're going to live on a farm and have people coming and going to help you or work here, you absolutely need a wide driveway, because trucks, trailers, RVs, they take up space. These huge, what are they called? The tractors. And they're very heavy too. So they're going to sink into the grass if it's very wet, and it can be very wet here. So you need lots and lots of gravel. Like you can see that I've got extra, I don't know if you could see this. I've got extra gravel here. It's quite high up. It's about 6 or 8 inches tall here compared to some of the other areas, because this is where like the leftover gravel was dumped when we were trying to expand the driveway. I might actually consider putting a little bit more, because I've got a depression over here, and it becomes very, very difficult to fill it in. And this is an area going into my field where, you know, the lawnmower goes back and forth, and I've considered just putting, you know, some gravel here to help it out. But I hope that helps everybody. Somebody who is looking to move to a farm that does not have an existing driveway. Driveways add value to a home. They're costly to install, but once they're there, they're there. You stay there. If you get over, you know, the first couple of years of installing a gravel driveway. And also, as an FYI, if you don't like your gravel driveway and then decide that you want asphalt, this is actually the foundation for an asphalt driveway. They will have to pound it down and straighten it out and do some other things, but to install an asphalt driveway, they usually dig it down to the dirt and fill it with gravel and then put the asphalt on top of it. So this would be also the foundation for an asphalt driveway if you chose to. And just as an FYI, I did receive a quote on an asphalt driveway back in 2019. And if I remember correctly, and this was inexpensive, it was $9,000. And when I mentioned that to other people, they thought that that was a steal. I would venture to say that now it would probably be closer to $12,000 or more. But that's okay, folks. I will save my money. I don't need to spend $12,000 on a driveway. But this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. And yes, these are the extra costs to installing a driveway on a homestead or farm. I hope everybody's having a good day.